An update tonight on Canada's controversial horse meat industry. Agriculture Minister Gerry Ritz is defending the slaughter after a Global News 16:9 investigation revealed some horses that are killed for human consumption may be contaminated with deadly drugs. Mike LeCouture has a follow-up report.
This is Susie.
For years, Mindy Lovell has taken care of horses after their racing careers, trying to save them from being killed for their meat. And she warns, unlike other livestock, horses are often contaminated with veterinary drugs like phenylbutazone, or Bute for short.
99.9% of all horses, donkeys, mules, whatever, have been on these substances at some point in their life. The majority of it clearly states right on it, not to be used on horses intended for human consumption.
Most Canadian horse meat is exported to Europe, where they have zero tolerance on Bute ever being in an animal for human consumption. The same rule applies in Canada, but in practice, a 6-month waiting period is allowed for the drugs to be flushed out of the animal's system. Now, government testing shows a 98% compliance rate. The few positive tests have created concern in European markets that our horse meat isn't safe. But the minister in charge of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency brushes off that criticism.
There's a 99% compliance. If they find any trace of Bute at all, that animal is completely moved out of the food chain.
Still, this director of a now-defunct slaughterhouse says CFIA fails to test for those drugs.
I never saw or heard of the CFIA doing drug screening. As usual, you have a government agency whose ass covering and full of.
In the last 4 years, 3 samples did test positive for Bute, but the Canadian Meat Council contends the amount found in the samples was insignificant.
After 4 years, on 1,600 samples, they've had 3 which turned out to be positive. And positive at very low levels of parts per million or parts per billion.
Problem is, those positive tests mean bad press in the European and Asian markets where most of Canadian horse meat is sold. Still, the minister doesn't think it'll affect the $90 million industry.
There are always people that are concerned with horse meat being consumed by human beings, but it's a legal recognized practice around the world.
A legal recognized practice, but one that continues to court controversy in this country. Mike LeCouture, Global News, Ottawa.